Hello, welcome back. Thank you for joining me here once again, where it's back to basics every time, I know. Yeah, let's talk about that. It's very, very important and it's very interesting. And as a spiritual practitioner or student or seeker or I don't know, whatever it is you wish to call yourself, you're interested in this. So let's talk about it. We come back to the same ideas over and over again. This is one, I guess you could call it a complaint, actually. One thing, right, that people often say about A Course in Miracles, and that I have heard people tell me in person that they find it rather boring and dull. Well, let's just take a step back and consider why we all need repetition. Just answered your own question, right? Yeah, we need it because we're stubborn adult learners. I mean, really. This makes sense. This course and these ideas are very simple. People seem to think that A Course in Miracles is so over the top and weird and out there and complicated. Well, it's not. It's not complicated. The complications are our own fabrication, our own made up drama. We introduce, we make all of the complications that we experience ourselves. Truth is disarmingly simple. And yes, that word is deliberately chosen, disarmingly simple. We have only to accept it just as it is. Simple. And it is precisely that we find so agonizingly impossible. So I invite you to think about this. I mean, really, it's an idea that gets repeated in this course. It's an idea, therefore, that gets repeated in this video series. Yeah. And it's true of pretty much everything in life. We need the repetition because an idea makes sense to us in certain contexts, such as this, a video that you're taking the time out of your busy day or evening to watch. So in these contexts, we tend to pay attention, to pay closer attention, and these ideas hit home, which is the point. They make sense, but then we magically go forth into the world, and all of a sudden it's as though we never heard them at all. We get swept away, and our habitual tendencies kick in, take over. Next thing we know, we're judging, blaming, full of hate, and miserable. Doesn't have to be that way. So let's talk about that. It does not have to be that way. We tend to experience difficulty here because we just aren't there in our mind with believing that forgiveness can heal, that the miracle heals all forms of sickness without exception. It is this that we find very, very difficult to accept. We believe, we can really say that we choose, I know. We choose to believe that there are some forms of sickness, that there are some forms of outrage here on wobbling, spinning ball of rock that forgiveness can't touch, that are unforgivable. All right. So, what historical dictators and warlords have done in this world is, well, vile by lots of our standards, isn't it? Cruel, unusual, mean, mean-spirited, vindictive, spiteful, and hateful. Yeah. What someone that you once dated or were in a relationship with did to you when you broke up or to cause your breakup might have been extremely short-sighted and vindictive and mean. I don't know. Right? We've all experienced this, but here you are in a place of, let's just say it, relative tranquility. Because whatever is going on in the world around you, or whatever is going on in the country that you live in, um, in case you didn't know, I live in the United States. Yeah, I know, right? High drama on a global stage, the ego at play. But this is true everywhere, and it has been throughout what we call history. It's the same drama playing itself out over and over again in different forms, what appear to be different places, led by different people with the same mistake firmly in their mind: separation. The only mistake, the mistake that needs correction: separation. There is no separation of any kind, and you do know this deep down. Doesn't mean that you've heard that in this lifetime. Perhaps this is the first time you have. Okay, there is no separation of any kind. Here in the world, we look out and we see separate governments, separate political factions, right? Separate nation states, separate continents, and then we look what appears to be out, away from wobbling, spinning ball of rock, and see a dizzying number of separate planets and galaxies and constellations and suns and stuff that appear to be so far away that they're tiny little specks in the night sky. They've never left our mind, which made them. Thinking that we're individual human beings, an ego, separate from other egos necessarily, right? Competing for what we deem to be scarce resources. Our entire economic systems are based on that. Compete, 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 get yours, because your neighbor's coming and he's going to get your stuff. So you better hit him first. I know. Sounds rather unpleasant in this context, doesn't it? Exactly. So we think that there are some things that are just so egregious that we cannot forgive them. All right, so saying that, we go forth, we blame. Here's what's going on is we're keeping certain little hatreds or big hatreds for ourselves. We're cherishing what we deem to be our right to judge and blame certain people while forgiving others. In other words, we think that there are some idols that are worth keeping, and by God, we want to keep them. That's what's really going on. We're exhibiting an unwillingness to forgive, This course is very clear. Forgiveness is either total, or it is not at all. We cannot, to use this course's language, expect to enter the kingdom of heaven, expect to know who and what we really are, if we cherish even one shred of hatred against someone or ourselves. Because it's the same thing. There's no separation of any kind. So our forgiveness must be total. But we lie to ourselves. I know. It's true. We lie to ourselves, as unpopular as that may be. Um, a news flash. If it's unpopular, so what? If billions of people aren't following it, so what? They're just not ready. But you are. You know it's true. This does not mean that you have to find yourself full of glee. I mean, if you do, fantastic. That's certainly a possible reaction to this, but you don't have to. You know, you may be experiencing some firm resistance, loud resistance, shrieking resistance. Yeah, it's the ego that resists, always, of course. Of course it is. It's part of the path. We all experience it. But we must know that our forgiveness must be total, or it's not at all. And we must also know that the miracle of true forgiveness heals all forms of sickness. There are not certain wrongs that are unforgivable. Now, right here in the world, if you have to defend yourself, defend yourself. Okay. We live our apparently normal lives. But you don't have to believe in the concrete reality of stuff, including this. It's 100% possible. You may be doing it, and if you are, you would know. Let's go back to interrelate here forgiveness and chapter one, section one, right, of the text, the very first sentence. I mean, after a very short preface, the course leads off with the statement, there is no order of difficulty in miracles. And reading that for the first time, I don't know where you were when you read that for the first time or what was running through your mind or where you happened to find yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. I don't mean a physical place. I mean inside. Yeah. It's interesting to think about the first reaction to that. For a lot of people, it's, huh, what? There is no order of difficulty in miracles. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means what we're talking about. The miracle, true forgiveness, extending love, heals all forms of sickness, all of them, no matter how egregious they may appear on the surface, no matter how barbaric they may appear on the surface or how benign. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. This very same part of the text goes on to say, just a few sentences later, all expressions of love are maximal. Think about this. All expressions of love are maximal. Maximal. Full bore. There's nothing they cannot heal. All expressions of love are full power on maximal. There is nothing you cannot heal. I want you to listen to that and accept that and feel it. There is nothing you cannot do. There is nothing you cannot heal. The more people that open themselves to this, the better. Clearly. This is the power of what you're studying. And if you're not a course student, you're interested in this, you're drawn to it. So we're invited not to dabble, not to forgive one person, but condemn the next, no matter what they appear to be doing, and no matter how vehemently you disagree with it. This course is about our mind. This is not about effecting political change. This is not a course in that kind of thing. It's a course in mind training. So let's come back to the idea we were talking about before, where people have flat out said, this is boring. Is awakening boring? Is healing the mind really boring? What's really going on with that statement? Is knowing the truth of who, what, and where you are, and I know you know that, is that boring? Okay, then. We must all be adults on this thing called the spiritual path, or we will stagnate. You may have experienced that. Now, a lot of people come to the study and practice of A Course in Miracles after having tried many things, after having gone to this retreat and taken this course and studied this and that, and having oftentimes been raised in a tradition that they left. Oh, that was my situation in not one but two extraordinarily fundamentalist Christian churches in the extremely conservative, as we all see, writ large, played out live 2025 in the United States. Right? Right. By fundamentalist, I mean the prevailing attitude that we own the truth and you do not. So, bye bye, people. Back off. Our building is the only building. Your building across the street does not count. We own the truth and we cling to it. Mm, right? Perhaps that doesn't speak to your experience, but it's common enough. All over the world, all over wobbling, spinning ball of rock, there are people that think that they own the truth. Well, as we know, it's not property, but it does set us free. We have to accept it just as it is. We don't see things as they are. Our practice of true forgiveness, the miracle of true forgiveness, this is a course in miracles after all, helps us to begin to see them as they really are. There's nothing you cannot do. And I hope that you deep down believe that. And if you don't, that's okay. It really is. It simply may not be the time for you to embrace that. But you'll hear this message again. You may hear it from this particular pixelated image on your screen. And if not, you'll hear it from what appears to be another. There's no going back. And why would you want to go back? It's not worthy of the Son of God to go back to a den of condemnation and blame with a dark cloud hanging over you at all times of your own making. So, the beauty of this course is that it is a self-study curriculum, not a religion, not fundamentalist, not hierarchical at all. This isn't in charge of you. It's an assemblage of electronic dots that can't be in charge of you. Thank God. Because let me put it to you this way, I don't want to be in charge of you. There's no separation of any kind. Who's in charge? That implies a hierarchy. Hmm. What we do with this course is we allow ourselves to be led. Honestly, we allow ourselves to be led by the Holy Spirit, or call it Jesus, same, right? Our inner teacher, yeah, even the Holy Spirit himself, itself goes by many, many different names here in A Course in Miracles alone. So call it Elvis if you want to. Who cares? Just trust its guidance. It's not outside of us. It's part of our mind. And the more we accept that, the more we get in touch with it, the better. We allow ourselves to be led as far as we feel able or willing to be led on a given day. And then we get up the next day and we do the exact same thing. We take what we're willing to take on a given day of this self-study curriculum with no one in charge, no top-down hierarchical structure like we have in work or in politics. None of that. You have everything you need to liberate your mind. So, my hope is that something that you've heard over the past 20 minutes or so has inspired you to take action. If you have questions, ask. This is a very good place to ask them here in the comment thread. But if you choose not to do that, that's fine. Ask the Holy Spirit for guidance. He'll always answer. Question is, are we willing to listen? Are we ready to accept the answer, in other words? Mm, that's a question for us. So, like in all forms of spirituality, there's repetition. We need it because we've not yet fully accepted truth just as it is. That's the invitation. So, I certainly wish you happy forgiving. Yeah. Please feel welcome again to ask questions and subscribe if you have not. Please go ahead and do that. Thank you to those of you who've recently joined us. This arrow that you've seen here in the corner of your screen is the prompt. When you click or hover over that, you'll be prompted to join us. So please go ahead and do that. Several videos appear each week, and well, I mean, we need the repetition. We need that. We really do. So I thank you for taking the time out of your day today or your evening, wherever you happen to find yourself. And I will see you again very soon.